So, just like all the other nerds that woke up to the vast array of Justice League news that came out this morning, I was pleasantly surprised to hear about all the awesome, legit, awesome news that came out of the set visits that took place. The source of all this news came from the multiple set visits by multiple different outlets from multiple different news sites and different places that Warner Brothers let go out and go onto the set of Justice League, and they saw a lot of awesome stuff. The way I found out about it was by one of my favorite YouTubers, Collider, and how they had some people from their space and go out and be able to write about it. And they were on a total of 8 hours on set, and they apparently saw 2 scenes being shot, and that's where all the butt end of all of this news came out of. And one of the big things that we found out about this was that while they were shooting and everything, that a lot of the news outlets noticed and reporters noticed that apparently, like, the tone is especially way different from Batman vs Superman. Even Zack Snyder himself said that he was a little bit taken back about the reaction and the critical and fan response to Batman vs Superman, and they all decided that they would make it a not lighthearted, but give it a lighter tone than what Batman vs Superman was, because apparently you saw people making jokes, you saw people laughing, you saw people smiling, and the whole cast was apparently having a really good time while that was happening. And even the co-producers like Deborah Snyder also confirmed that they are taking the backseat to the darker tone, and they are going for the more lighthearted, more Avengers Marvel movie type tone than the traditional DC route, which would be dark, gritty, and not fun at all, right? Because even with Batman vs Superman, that's not a movie that I would take a 9-year-old to go see. That's more of a teenager, more adult movie. They're definitely trying to gear towards the younger kid audience, because why wouldn't you be able to bring your 9 to 10-year-old kids to a superhero movie with the Justice League? But like, that's the big thing that they're trying to fix, and that they were course correcting for this, and that it definitely displayed, and that's what they wanted to show specifically to the news outlets that were there at the set visit. One of the scenes that they saw took place on a rooftop next to the bat symbol with Jim Gordon, Batman, Wonder Woman, the Flash, and Cyborg. Holy crap, that is a rip, Jim Gordon! And while shooting these scenes, the people that were there for the set visit were able to see that it was more of a light-hearted tone, because apparently that Batman may have made a sort of joke, because he's Batman, he really doesn't make jokes. You saw Wonder Woman smile, and they also said that you could totally see how the more lightheartedness and probably the comic relief would probably be the Flash, and people were comparing it that just like how Quicksilver was to X-Men, that's probably what the Flash is gonna be to the new Justice League, and that's what they're going to say. That is probably going to be the comic relief, and that's probably what most of the comedy and most of the humor that they're trying to inject to make it a more light-hearted movie that's where it's all going to come from. And expected, just like how Iron Man is to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, how he always gets a new suit every movie and new tech every movie, so does Batman. Now, Batman and the Justice League will get some new gadgets, new toys. Apparently, they were also saying that Batman is supposed to help build the second iteration of the Flash suit for Barry Allen. Batman's supposed to get an upgraded suit, but it's not going to be like the armored suit. Apparently it's supposed to be like more of an undersuit, and then you put the actual Ben Affleck suit over it from BVS, which sounds awesome on its own. And then you also have a new and improved Batmobile with more machine guns and apparently flamethrowers, but they were saying that that probably doesn't matter when you're not killing people, when you're killing parademons, which is, I guess, is okay. And then you also have, apparently they have it's not like a new jet, but it's like a new old Wayne Tech plane that they have, and that it's supposed to store the Batmobile, and it's supposed to store all of the Justice League, and that's what they're going to use to get around throughout the film. And it is expected that they are going to have more in gadgets and all that stuff, but surprisingly, throughout all of this, Aquaman, or at least I didn't hear that Aquaman was present throughout, which is kind of weird, but, well, it was technically above ground, but you'd think Aquaman would be underwater, but, whatever you get can get, right? They only spent 8 hours on set, so they only saw 2 scenes and maybe a couple of finished visual effects, and they also did say that they saw concept art for other ships, for other parademons and all that awesome stuff. And my favorite thing to come out of this is that apparently the second scene that they were able to see is that you see Barry Allen go back to his apartment, because his suit that he made was made out of 3D printing and stuff that he stole from NASA, and apparently he was going back to his apartment or his lab, and to come back when sort of how Spider-Man, right, with Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland, he comes back to his apartment and you see Ben Affleck, Batman, and he starts geeking out that it's Batman, and that's how he recruits himself to the Justice League. Definitely a really Spider-Man-esque, and that's one of my favorite things is that they're already kind of taking cues from Marvel, and that's definitely a really funny thing to think about. All in all, that's what I mainly thought and what I mainly took from the awesome news that came out from the new set visits that were taking place by Warner Brothers in London for Justice League. That's such a crazy thing to think about, that people actually saw like almost the entire Justice League in costume. They got to talk to them. Like, it's just an amazing time that we live in to actually to know that we have a Justice League movie coming, to know we have a Wonder Woman movie coming. Like, all of that stuff is such amazing, amazing things to think about. I literally geeked out knowing that they had set visits and that it's actually happening and that they're letting people go out and be able to see this movie. And a big thing that was taken back is that, like most set visits, you have to keep quiet and there's an embargo. Apparently the embargo was lifted today, but the set visits took place on Friday. Like, that's ridiculous when the movie is coming out 17 months in advance. That definitely shows that Warner Brothers has confidence, but a lot of people are also saying that they wanted that to get across that the lighthearted tone. That's why they probably chose specific scenes, but I really don't care. It's awesome to see and to hear that movie that has been in delay for so long is finally being made, and that we're actually making progress. We get to hear new stuff is awesome in itself.